right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys today, Regan Grimes announcing today that he will be competing this weekend again, this time at the Prague Pro. So I gotta say, this is what I like to see. This is really impressive. This is what I've liked to see from Nathan Diasha, the way he did all these shows recently. We saw it from Ian Valliere earlier on in the year. These guys, when they get on a hot streak, they don't slow down, they don't quit, they just keep competing. And I kind of like that because now you've got Regan, fresh off of a win, going into the Prague Pro against Nathan, who is fresh off of 3 wins. And not only that, but you got to be impressed by the fact that Regan is going to be traveling from Egypt to Prague to do another show that he really doesn't need to do. He already got his 2022 Olympia qualification at this last show. So there's no real reason for him other than, to prove a point and to earn some money to go over and compete at Prague. But I think it's going to make that show a lot more exciting. And I think Regan deserves some props. And I also think that momentum is a very real factor in bodybuilding. When you're a bodybuilder and you've just won a show and you're going to compete in a show right after that show that you just won, I think that gives you a little edge. It gives you a little something extra. The judges know who you are. They saw that you just won a show. The other competitors are kind of on notice. They know who you are. They saw that you just won a show. You've kind of got that energy, that stage presence, and that confidence. I mean, how big would that be for Regan going from 15th place at the Olympia to 2nd place at the Legion Sports Festival to winning this past weekend's KO Pro Show in Egypt? What if he were to go on and win the Prague Pro as well? Look at how much momentum that would be and how tremendous that would be for the fact that he only switched coaches like a couple weeks ago and started working with Milo Sarshev to make these improvements in such a short amount of time. I think it's very impressive. But look, all I know, I'm excited to see Regan step on stage again this weekend and see how he stacks up against his lineup, which, by the way, let's talk about that next because they just released a competitor list today. Ironically enough, releasing it after Regan Grimes announced he was doing the show. And Regan's name is not yet added to their official competitor list, which I thought is funny. How they release these lists, and they're almost never accurate. They're almost never complete when they first release these initial lists, and I just always think, why would you even put this out then? So you've got 15 competitors, 14 on this list, but 15 including Regan. You've got Khalid Al-Kazan, Slavoj Bednar, Pavel Baron, Rafael Brandao, Jamie Christian Jahal, a.k.a. The Giant, Samson Dauda, Nathan Diasha, Kevin Gebhardt, Jesus Martin Hernandez, Marek Oljanigzak, I'm trying to get that right. I don't want to butcher it too bad. Emir Omaragic, Jan Turek, Dawid Wachika, and Rolly Winkler. And, of course, Regan Grimes that we just talked about. So there's a few pretty good names in here. You've got Samson, who has been really in the top mix of every show that he's done lately, just narrowly missing out on a victory. You've got Nathan Diasha coming in here off of a ton of momentum, 3 pro shows back-to-back. You got Rafael Brandao coming in after a pretty extensive offseason and a period away from the stage after some illness that he had. And then Rolly Winkler coming in here looking for redemption after the Olympia after being defeated by Nathan on 2 occasions now. Regan Grimes, fresh off the improvements, fresh off the victory in Egypt. This is going to be a really good show. This is going to be a really competitive lineup. There's $45,000 in prize money. There's an Olympia qualification up for grabs. And I got to say, I'm really impressed with these shows that have came after the Olympia. The Legion Sports Festival, the Egypt show, this Prague Pro. You've got the Romania show coming up. They're giving us actually some really good lineups. Typically, this late in the year, you would think that the bodybuilding season is over and the excitement and the hype is dying down, but it looks like we've got a little bit to look forward to. We've got some bodybuilding excitement post-Olympia this year, and really kind of the early qualification series beginning now for 2022. We get some entertainment. It's exciting, and these guys are putting on a show for us. So definitely hit that thumbs up button because we're getting some exciting bodybuilding stories to cover, and these guys are they're working overtime, man. They really don't have to, especially these guys that just competed at the Olympia like Regan, or guys that are already qualified like Regan and Nathan. They don't have to be doing this. They're doing it for the love of the game. And I think it's really cool that they are. Now, speaking of this, I wanted to go ahead and look over at the scorecards from that KO Pro Show because we really only got to talk about the top results here. So you had Regan winning, Mohammed Shaaban in 2nd. Then you also had Samson Dauda in 3rd, who a lot of fans felt like should have been in 2nd. I saw that comment a lot on my previous video. Also notice here, that you don't see Cedric McMillan's name at all on this list, meaning he did not show up for this show. So you guys know that he was in the Legion Sports Festival. He showed up there. He ended up not showing up to the night show, leading to him being disqualified and did not place on the official scorecard for Legion. He was on the competitor list for Egypt, but he did not show up. So I'm getting kind of worried about Cedric. We really haven't seen or heard really anything from him. And he wasn't at this show, but I wanted to draw your guys' attention specifically to second place here, Mohammed Shaaban, who had a pretty impressive 2021 season, placing top 10 at the Olympia, despite the fact that he qualified for the Olympia on points. But he was runner-up here, and again, he beat Samson Dowda, who a lot of people, he's a fan favorite bodybuilder for sure. But Mohammed Shaaban put up a post, which he has now deleted, about this past weekend's competition, where he says, "I have no words. I should have listened to my wife when she told me not to compete. I'm sorry, baby. This loss truly hurts more than anyone can understand. I usually accept all my placings, but this second feels like a last call out at the Olympia. I'm going to take some time off social media and come back with a clear mind, spirit, and physique for 2022. I'm sorry I failed you all, and I'm sorry I failed you again. Andrew Vu 87. Show after show, I feel like they just don't want me up there. Like how much can I lose before they see me give up? Thank you to my IG family for your love and support. One of those shows you will remember forever." Now, I think he actually looked pretty good here, and I think second place was a good placing for him. I think he's had a really good season. Like I said, 10th place at the Olympia, considering the fact that he qualified on points, is really solid. He beat guys that qualified off of wins. That is a solid placing at the Olympia. So I just want to send him some positive vibes. I really don't think second place at this show is anything to be discouraged about, anything to be too upset about. I do think Regan solidly deserved that victory. To me, there was no question in my mind that Regan won the show. I don't think anyone should have beat him, so I don't really think this is like a controversial type of thing. But yeah, I just wanted to say when I saw this, don't be discouraged. You look good. You had a good season. Maybe just take some time off, take a break, take a rest like you said. But don't let it get to you too bad. I mean, I think the placing was fair, but I think it was still a good placing. Now, next up in the news, I wanted to show you guys this physique update of Rafael Brandao, posted by his coach, Chris, the Real Technician Azito. Now, Chris notes in this post that this was not taken super recently, but just relatively recently. So not in the last couple days, maybe not even in the last couple of weeks. But I just thought this photo demonstrated kind of what I've been talking about with Rafael all along. Now, we know that he is competing this weekend at the Prague Pro. Then he's also going to be doing the Romania Muscle Fest. He's a guy that I've really had my eye on for a while. He's one of the more aesthetic men's open bodybuilders. And like I said, this picture in particular, this front double bicep, I think demonstrates that really well. The V-taper that he has, the aesthetics that he has, the lines, the flow, but more importantly, the small waist, the flaring lats from the front. This guy is a guy that I really want to see thrive. I really want to see him do well. And like I said before, kind of like the Regan Grimes situation, the Patrick Moore situation, when you've got a more aesthetic men's open guy like Regan, like Patrick, like Rafael, with lines and flow, it seems like a lot of the time the judges want them to be bigger. And a lot of the time it seems like they might get out-muscled in some of these lineups. So I'm very curious to see, especially with Regan now in this lineup, and the fact that Regan just won a show, I think he and Rafael would compare very favorably in this show, and I think that'll be one that maybe gets Rafael into that top call-out if he otherwise wouldn't have been, because him and Regan have kind of a similar strong point going on there with the aesthetics and the lines. But I got to be honest, right now in men's open bodybuilding, Rafael has one of my favorite physiques in the division right now. I think he plays a really good game of balancing, kind of having that classic look, but still having the size of a men's open guy. And I really, really think, he's got such a bright future, and I want to see him do well at this Prague Pro. But he's got his work cut out for him. Samson Dowda, Rolly Winkler, Nathan Diasha, Regan Grimes. It's going to be tough work for Rafael Brandao, but if he's able to pull it off, what if he pulled off the victory? I mean, what a feather in his cap that would be. Let's go, Brandao. Thumbs up for Rafael Brandao. That's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Thumbs up the video. It helps out tremendously. It's cheap. It's free. It's easy. It costs you nothing but a millisecond to just click that like button, and it really helps out a lot. So thank you, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.